For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen. The UNK Wrestling team is ranked 18th in the National Wrestling Coaches Association preseason top 25. Recently had a chance to talk to head coach Dalton Jensen about his outlook for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 2 seasons ago, won a national championship last year. Kind of lower end for our typical result, finished with an 8th place finish, but did have an individual national champ in Austin Eldridge, something you can never take for granted because that doesn't happen every day. And for someone to end up their not just their season, but their college career with, the goal that they had set out for and helping them accomplish it, even though maybe the team didn't finish as great as we wanted to, but to see an individual achieve that success is huge for our program. So moving into this year, lose a couple guys, Austin Eldridge being one of them, but Lee Harrington also had finished up. And actually both those guys have stuck around. They're both in Kearney, full-time jobs, and continuing to assist and help our program. And, this season going to be a lot of what ifs and waiting and seeing. I think we have a couple weight classes that are up for grabs. And, I kind of project right now that we're probably going to have, maybe 6 of our starters are probably sophomores this year. So relatively kind of a younger group, a lot of guys that are going to be first time in the lineup. So not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just, there's just nothing on paper to say, hey, we have this many All-Americans and I think we're going to be a top 5 team. I think all these guys are very capable and will end their careers as All-Americans and hopefully multiple time All-Americans, but we'll see how they do this year.
I know last year you had to deal with a lot of injuries that forced some younger guys who had to wrestle for you. Do you reap some of those benefits this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the challenge is always trying to stay healthy. I think, we have a big focus in our program with recovery and trying to keep these guys healthy, not just during the season, but obviously understanding that these guys are here for 4, 5, and sometimes 6 years now with some guys with COVID years. And, these kids are coming in now from high school with way more matches than they used to get, way more national level matches, state level matches, and their strength conditioning programs are way more rigorous. So these kids are coming in more college ready, but they're also maybe their bodies are giving up a little bit sooner, or they're seeing injuries here and there. So obviously, and then it's a combat sport, so you're obviously just going to run into some flukes and weird things that happen. And last year it just kind of hit us hard. Had a lot of guys end up having to have surgery or were out for a majority of the season. So hopefully we can stay healthy this year. But it gave opportunity to some guys that maybe typically weren't in the lineup, or maybe their calling to be in the lineup was going to be a couple years down the road, that got that experience early. So really, there's the quickest way to learn is to get thrown into the fire and see how you do. And I think a lot of those guys did well with their time, and I think long term are going to see the benefits of it.
Now, do you have some new faces that fans are going to see? There's some newcomers that you're counting on that could make an immediate impact?
One of the biggest ones I see are a couple of guys I see emerging into our starting lineup that weren't last year, and some could be some fresh faces. They were on the team last year, but one's a Trent Munoz at 174. He was a national finalist as a true freshman in NAI for Hastings College. And last year he ended up breaking his arm. And so he was out for the entire season and took a red shirt. So he'll be back at it this year. Someone kind of have high expectations of him, and I know he has high expectations of himself. Another one at heavyweight is Crew Howard. He was a redshirt freshman last year, was behind Lee Harrington, but both those guys were pretty darn even, and we would have felt good throwing either of those guys in the national championships. But, I mean, Crew's someone that I would not be shocked to see him in the national finals this year. He last year had beaten, I think 2 or 3 of the All-Americans during the season, beat another 1 or 2 other guys that were national qualifiers as well. So he's proven to beat some of the top guys. And he's just a guy, just a workhorse. I can't keep that guy out of the wrestling room. He's in there 2 or 3 times a day, putting in the extra work, and he's a great student, and he wants to win.
Okay, how's the new wrestling room working? I know there were some ups and downs with that, but I would assume you're in there to start this preseason, and that's got to be great to see. Yeah,
this is the first season that we began into this new training facility. So, I mean, we moved in last year. I think it was December 27th. And even to that point, things were still finishing up around us. It was really just the mats were rolled out, and none of the graphics or the weight equipment or cardio equipment, none of that was done yet. So they were kind of just working around us. And it was probably Oh man, I think until March or April or May, even when we finally got all the graphics and everything finished up. So it's still, a new space to us, and we're still kind of in that honeymoon phase of really enjoying it. But at the end of the day, it's a luxury. I mean, this is a Division I like facility. It provides everything that these guys need to be successful, from getting obviously their wrestling workouts, but having a space to be able to come in and study during the day or get their extra workouts or hop on a cardio equipment or get an extra lift in, whatever those guys need to be successful, it's all right there. So seeing the guys is take advantage of that. And then obviously on our end to be able to run efficient practices where we're keeping these guys safe is huge.
And that was Loper Wrestling coach Dalton Jensen. The annual Blue Gold Inter-Squad Scrimmage is coming up this Saturday at 11, and UNK will head to Colorado, South Dakota, and California the following weekend. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen.